Veteran actor Judd Hirsch is returning back to his TV sitcom roots. Hirsch is best known, of course, for his iconic role as New York City cab driver in the 1970s series Taxi.
And soon you can see him co-starring in the CBS comedy Superior Donuts. Judd plays a cranky donut shop owner in gentrified Chicago. Here's a preview.
Do you have any cronuts?
Ooh. What?
Cronut. It's part donut, part croissant. It's what they call a hybrid.
I know what a cronut is, and no, I don't sell them. Nor do I sell muffins or duffins or muff nuts. The name of this place is Superior Donuts. I sell donuts. My parents did not smuggle me out of communist Poland in the hold of a cargo ship so that 65 years later, I could sell you a damn cronut.
Scone?
Get out of here.
And Judd Hirsch is here with us now to talk more about his return to primetime. Thank you so much for stopping by.
You're welcome.
You know what's funny? In that clip, you remind me of Louis De Palma. You've become Louis De Palma in that.
I sort of felt myself speaking like him, and I thought, don't do that. Yeah. It's the wrong character.
Louis De Palma was the Danny DeVito character in Taxi when he was always very gruff.
He always wanted to play me anyway.
So before we even get started talking about Superior Donuts, I want to ask you about Mary Tyler Moore. You worked with her, in Ordinary People.
I didn't work with her. We didn't have a scene together, but and in fact, I never even saw her when we were doing it because I was kind of flown in while I was in Taxi to do the stuff with Tim Hutton and the one shot with Donald Sutherland. But Donald had something wrong with his eye. He had a burst blood vessel, so they can only shoot over his shoulder to me. And then I had to go home. And they said, "Would you come? We're gonna have to have a guy with your jacket, and we're gonna shoot over his shoulder to Donald." I said, "Oh, goodbye." I had to go back in. So I was sitting in California doing Taxi, and I get this call saying, "Would you mind coming back because Donald really wants to do it with you?"
Oh, that's great.
I said, "I don't blame him. Why does he want to look at somebody else talking to me, right?" So I came back, and then I realized the reason they had me back is because I taught them a game in poker, and they wanted to take me for it.
See?
It was the crew. It was the crew who wanted it.
It's those little stories.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Nothing to do with how hard your agent worked or anything like that. Yeah. But we know that Mary Tyler Moore, she was nominated in the same movie that you starred with her in, and you know, I think a lot of people have a lot of emotions about hearing that she passed away, and we were curious about how you felt.
Well, you know, it's funny because I met Mary about 3 times. One time when I saw her in a play called Whose Life Is It Anyway on Broadway, and then I was in a restaurant across the street from the theater, and she walked right past me and actually just tapped me on the shoulder and said, "I heard we were great." And she was talking about Ordinary People because it hadn't just come out yet. I think she was doing this in '79. Wow. Oh, no, just about 80. Yeah. So then I went, "Oh, wow, really? Okay. I hope you mean me, too." But she meant everybody.
Yeah.
She had somehow gotten word. But I thought, and then we did a picture in 2011, a 30-year anniversary of the cast. Now you got to see this because we're a little older, 30 years older. There's a picture. There's a picture in Vanity Fair. Oh, wow. Okay, get it. You'll see. Okay.
Wow.
And you'll see, and you see Mary looking very much like she did today. I mean, you know, even today.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So, Superior Donuts.
Superior Donuts.
So, that little clip reminded me of my own neighborhood.
Yeah, you were
because
saying.
I live in a neighborhood, you know, an old Philly neighborhood, but now we have vegan donut shops and, you know, vegan fried chicken and all this sort of stuff. Oh, yeah.
I would eat those. We have dozens and dozens of fresh donuts on the set every single day.
So they're real donuts.
They have to be.
Is that right?
They have to be. I mean, I don't know whether there's a law about this, but we just keep on smelling
No donuts were harmed in the making of this television series.
And
like
the cast has one of those little eyes on them as we speak to each other. There's loads of donuts all over the place. I'm the only one that doesn't eat them. But
well, I suppose you don't want to mess up the continuity, right? You don't want.
No, they're young. It won't change them.
So the show Superior Donuts tackles some serious issues. There's issues about gun violence, racism, crime. To give us a sense of, it's a comedy, but it has these. You
got to be funny about this stuff. It takes place in Chicago. It takes place in a really rundown place. You know what I mean? And we are sort of being gentrified out, right? That's really what it's about, all right? So we have all these problems about keeping ourselves, about keeping the place, right? Which is the pilot. Kid comes on and tells me he can save it, right? Right. And I'm about, you know, I believe that as much as I believe for the last 46 years. It's going to be there. Yes, it's going to be there. And a lot of people are going to come into this place. You know, this is like the. It's like the Cheers with donuts. Right? Only we don't eat them and we don't get drunk.
Yeah. You know how to pick good comedy series, I think. Taxi, right there, John. You know how to pick a good one.
Yeah.
You do. So
I was lucky.
Tell me, what drew you to get back into this sitcom game?
Well, it's funny because when they first asked me about this one, I said, "Who's directing it?" They said Jimmy Burrows, and Jimmy Burrows is a legendary director. He did Taxi.
Taxi.
It was pretty much the beginning. He's done 1,000 shows, and he's done the pilots for almost everything you've ever heard. All the ones that are still running now, and like Cheers, The Big Bang Theory, Friends. He did them all. The pilots,
right,
and the shows. Yeah. So
he was in that the HBO series The Comeback. He played James Burrows in The Comeback.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was a comedic turn. He was hilarious. He was hilarious because that's how he really is as a director.
Like
it's kind of scary. Yeah.
He never looks at anything. He just says, "Go over there."
Does he know you do him like this?
The camera, moving there. He doesn't look at anything.
So working with him was something that was pretty appealing to you then?
Yeah. No. I mean, this is called genius. This is genius,
Yeah.
And we're working with 4 stand-up comics. I'm the least of all of them. So I've got my work cut out for me every day, trying to keep up with these guys.
Wow.
Jermaine Fowler is the real other star of the show, right? And there's no way to keep him off his feet. I mean, he flies. You've got to see him. He's a stand-up. He's wonderful. I mean, he's the best thing that was ever given to me to play with. I mean, he's so young, for crying out loud.
Well, we think you're great. You've won 2 Emmys, 2 Tonys, a Golden Globe. You've been nominated for an Oscar. It's really great to meet you.
Thank you.
You live long enough to give you stuff.
And Superior Donuts premieres next Thursday night at 8:30, 7:30 Central after The Big Bang Theory, right in here on CBS.